Name the remake of the groundbreaking horror movie in which the villain...
Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, Dawn of the Dead, The Hills Have Eyes, Amityville Horror, Last House on the Left, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, My Bloody Valentine, When a Stranger Calls, Prom Night, Black Christmas, House of Wax, The Fog, Piranha. It's one of those, right? Right?
Hello and welcome back to Don't Press Play, the podcast where I press play so you don't have to. I'm your host Alex, and today we are diving in straight away to Alien Earth. Episode 1 has just dropped on Disney Plus, and I've just finished watching it as of 5 minutes ago. Now, all this episode is just going to be on the first episode, Neverland, because I just wait to get that first episode done, covered, and then I can hopefully binge the rest. So let's roll the trailers and I will see you on the other side.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How's our girl?
She's ready.
You're gonna be the first person to transition from a human body to a synthetic.
Because I'm special.
That's right. You're very, very special.
We have a downed spacecraft.
I want what's on that ship.
We can do it. We're fast, we're strong, we don't break.
It's like a zoo, but the animals got out.
This ship collected 5 different life forms from the darkest corners of the universe. Monsters.
Invasive species. Predatory.
We don't lock them down, it will be too late.
Okay, so episode 1 is titled Neverland, and what I get from this first episode is obviously is Peter Pan themed, and it's kind of just your initial basic pilot for a TV show. Now, my current relationship with the Alien franchise is a bit of a strange one because growing up, I used to never, ever, ever like the Alien films. I never found them interesting at all. I've never really been a sci-fi girly. However, when Alien Romulus came out, I was absolutely obsessed with Alien. It really did kind of spark the interest in Alien for me. So I watched Alien Romulus at the cinema, and then I came home that day and I was like, I need to binge watch every piece of Alien media I can get a hold of. So I'm pretty clued up on all my Alien knowledge. And then I started playing Alien Isolation, which, that is the most terrifying game I've ever played in my entire life. I've still not completed it because I'm still too scared of the alien in it. So that is kind of where I'm at with the Alien franchise at the minute. And obviously Alien Earth was announced a few months back, and I've been so excited to get back into it. A bit comprehensive as well, because obviously nobody knows what the lore is and what this is going to do to the Alien timeline, because obviously we have Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and then we have the original Alien films, Alien Romulus, Aliens 2, it goes on and on and on. So everyone's kind of been confused as to where this is going to fit into the Alien timeline, because there's already so much lore in Alien of what is going on. So, what I've gathered from this first episode is that this is set before the first Alien film, and we open to a ship, very much like Alien Romulus and the original Alien and Aliens, where they're waking up from hypersleep. And, we don't really spend too much time with the crew because we all know they're all going to be dead very much soon if it goes by the normal beats of an Alien film. And this alien ship is a carrier of, well, they kind of say is kind of like a crazy zoo, and obviously there's loads of specimens on board this ship. Now we see the face huggers obviously in the tanks, but then we also kind of get a glimpse into some new creatures which probably we're gonna see more of down the line. We have these tiny little bugs, and then there's also this like weird alien creature with one eyeball and tentacles. So we are introduced to that kind of thingy, and then there's flashbacks of the ship crashing and the aliens getting out, and then we see the Xenomorph. And from that, we cut to planet Earth, where we learn that there is more than one big corporation, and there's a second corporation. Or maybe there's three. One of the corporations has a private island, and on this private island, they are basically transferring the souls of sick, dying children to synthetics, and they are synthetic robots is the word, or just synthetics with real human minds, which is obviously a bit different to the synthetics that we have in the Alien franchise. And these roles play quite a big part in the Alien world because obviously there's that debate whether they are human or not. So we see this really interesting dynamic between these kids who have been transferred into these human bodies, and it's kind of setting up like these are like superheroes. I don't know if they're kind of going to be these superheroes that are going to fight the aliens, because the ship with all of the weird aliens on has crashed into Earth. Now, like I said, I believe this is set 2 years before Alien, and the ship has crashed onto Earth, and these kids are going to fight these aliens because they've been sent to the scene of the crash to help. So the year is 2120, and mega corporations rule both Earth and the solar system. And yeah, Prodigy Corporation is the second corporation, and this is all about humanity's pursuit of immortality. And it's via 3 technological paths: cyborg, synths, which is AI robots, and hybrids, which is the one that the Prodigy Corporation have set up on the secret island, which human consciousness in synthetic bodies. So with that, we meet our main character, I assume is the main character, who is originally called Marcy, and then she inhabits a synthetic adult body called Wendy. She becomes kind of a mentor who essentially helps these children transition from body to body. So on board, there is still a synthetic, and he ties up the 2 responders, and then shit kind of goes crazy. Now, this is just the first episode, like I said, so I don't know what's going to happen next, but these are kind of my first thoughts and feelings on this episode. So straight out the bat, I absolutely love that we've done something a little bit different than what we've seen before. I think it had been quite predictable as an Alien TV show to have it set as a ship in space, and it's the same beat for beat, because obviously Alien Romulus, as much as I love Alien Romulus, it's just an alien film, and it doesn't really do anything different than what we've already seen before. And I know you can kind of talk about the hybrids and things like that, but however, it was kind of done in Prometheus already. So again, I'm not really, as much as I love Alien Romulus, it hasn't done anything different. Whereas Alien Earth is picked up kind of on Earth, and we're kind of seeing a little bit more lore around Alien and the universe Alien has created, which I give props to. And I really do love this kind of theme around Peter Pan. The first episode is called Neverland, and obviously these kids who are never going to grow up because they're always going to be children in adult bodies. So I really do kind of love that simplicity, but also it's just quite great storytelling to me, and it's easier transition for kind of audiences to understand, because it's kind of like everybody knows the story of Peter Pan, so that way we're able to kind of understand this part of the story a bit more, because it is quite of a jump, especially if you've only ever seen the first Alien, because not everyone is going into the Alien TV show being like an alien historian, so you kind of gotta give them props. But anyway, we're set on this island, and these kids who are, my theory is they're going to be like superheroes who are going to fight the Xenomorph, which if that is the case, I don't know if I'm going to love it, but I can't judge right now because I'm only on episode 1. And also straight out the bat, we've got to talk about these little creepy bugs. Now this scene had me literally screaming. So the first responders are in the spaceship, and this weird little bug drops onto this guy and he doesn't realize, and then the synth ties the 2 responders up, and then the bug starts crawling around his face, and then it starts sucking out blood until he dies, and the bug turns from a bug into this big sack of blood and dies on the floor, and then the other one gets his other friend, and it's horrendous, and it's like body horror to such a gross degree, and I think this is going to be very prevalent in this season, because you can't have an alien movie without body horror. They go hand in hand. I really love that we haven't seen too much Xenomorph right now. We've seen the Xenomorph, it's there, but it's not the main focus, and that is one thing I was really worried about when I first started watching it, because obviously within the first 10 minutes we see a Xenomorph attack someone on the spaceship, and like I said, I was quite worried that it was going to be all about a Xenomorph, which is great, but I think if we're doing an alien TV show, we want to explore more, we want to know more, because we're not constricted to a hour and a half, 2-hour run through of, the film. We've got so much time to explore now, so obviously we have to have the Xenomorph, but let it breathe and let us have something different. And I'm really glad that we've kind of been able to go onto this spaceship and see different creatures and different animals, and kind of, it's nice that we're probably going to be able to spend time with those, because then that means when there is inevitably another alien film, it can cross over, and it's just anything more that's not been done before is a good thing. I think people need to be ready for that, because I think obviously now seeing that the Xenomorph hasn't been in the whole hour episode, I'm ready for it. I'm absolutely ready, and the Xenomorph looked fantastic. That was one thing I did take away from, is the 5 minutes we get of the Xenomorph attacking that person. It was so brilliant, and it kind of reminds me of Alien Isolation, where we can see the Xenomorph creeping around, but we're not explicitly seeing it. So I think when the first responders get onto the aircraft, you can kind of see the tail in the corner, and it's kind of like Where's Wally, where you're kind of always keeping an eye out, because the Xenomorph is somewhere on that ship where the first responders are. And yeah, it's just a great concept, a crashed spaceship on Earth, and a sister is going in to look for her brother. It's just a kind of great, it's a great starting point. And I think everyone was worried that it was going to be like an alien invasion or something like that, but I think this is a really clever way of doing it. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what goes on next. Another thing I really love from this season so far is the idea of the other companies, and kind of, obviously we know in the future that none of those companies exist anymore, and it's just the Wayland Corp. And then I think even then, you'll have to excuse me because I don't remember watching Aliens 3 and 4. No hate to those movies. I don't know if they still exist in the future, but I know that, we don't really know of any other company, so it is really great to see. I'm excited to see if we're going to have any Prometheus or Covenant references, because me personally, I think Prometheus is one of my favorite alien films, if not my favorite, so I really want to see if there's going to be more black goo and stuff. It was kind of hinted at when the hybrid is in the... Not the hybrid, the synth is in the spaceship about to leave, and the alien goo drops in his eye. I thought that was where the aliens were going to get to Earth, but apparently they were already there, so that's fantastic. As first episodes go, I'm very, very excited to see what's going to happen next. And yeah, my theory, like I said, I've said this like it's the third time I've said this now, I think it's going to be a case of these guys fighting these Xenomorphs off and things like that. But I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out and what's going to happen. And I'm about to watch episode 2 while the dog is asleep. So yeah, thank you for checking out this episode, guys. It's a bit of a short one today, but like I said, it's just a quick reaction and review to the first episode, Alien to Earth. So if you did like my theories, my thoughts, my feelings, don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel, give me a review, follow me wherever you watch podcasts. And yeah, thank you to everyone that's been checking out my videos. I've been popping up on YouTube recently, which is crazy, but nobody subscribed. So if you've made it this far and you're listening on YouTube, subscribe and leave me a comment, please. I'd be absolutely great. Tell me what your favorite Alien film is, because I want to know. So yes, that's all we had time for today, because honestly, I want to get back to Alien Earth, but I just thought I'd drop season 1, episode 1 out of the way, and yeah, just see what my thoughts and feelings were. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.